Winds.
Correct. What was seen as great when Nebuchadnezzar considered the high God in 4 verse 3?
Pass.
It's times. How many times was voice used in 10 verse 6?
2.
Correct. Who did the prince of Eunuch set over Daniel?
Nezar.
Correct. The he-goat was moved with this toward the
Chola.
right. Correct. Which body part sticks out in 5 verse 7?
Pass.
Next. What had gone from King Nebuchadnezzar?
His dream.
What was said before? It didn't sound like
His dream.
Yeah. His dream, correct. The man clothed in linen was found upon the weir in 12 verse 6.
The banks of the river.
Incorrect. The waters of the river. Where were the teeth of the second deer like beast found according to 7 verse 5?
Like iron.
Like iron.
No, in his mouth. To depart from the precepts and judgments of the Lord is the definition of what in chapter 9 verse 5? Rebelling is what we're looking for. Time came first.
Minute.
That's John Paul who said it. And you would have said rebelling. Alright, that's the end of the first minute.
I know you did it. Come again. Relax.
First minute now for East Main Street. Are you ready, East Main Street?
Yes, sir.
According to 3 verse 5, was a condition applied to the herald's announcement?
True.
Correct. According to 6 verse 16, where were lions residing?
In the den.
Correct. What types of cities are fetched from in chapter 11 verse 15?
The most fancy cities. The most fancy cities.
Correct. The watcher had stated that the tree be hewn down, and then what else in 4 verse 23?
His branches should be cut off. His branches should be cut off.
No, what I said that to be destroyed. When Daniel spoke, was there someone in front of him according to 10 verse 16?
Pass.
Answer is yes. What is the name of the king mentioned in 1 verse 18?
Chips.
Jehovah.
Incorrect. Nebuchadnezzar. Certain was a word used in 8 verse 13 to refer to what? To whom, generally?
Man.
Incorrect. A saint. Who spoke these words in 5 verse 17? Let thy gifts be to thyself.
Daniel.
Correct. What were Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah called in 2 verse 17? In relation to Daniel, answer is companions.
Listen, come again. You.
Or East Main Street.
Listen. Last minute. Got to listen.
Second and final bit now for the assembly hall. Are you ready? Assembly hall.
Ready.
Which color is mentioned in 12 verse 10?
Red.
Incorrect. White. Snow is white. And according to 7 verse 9, what else could be seen as white?
His clothes.
Incorrect. Pure wool. Which land did the Lord God bring the people out of as stated in chapter 9 verse 15?
Pass.
Egypt. Generally, what did Nebuchadnezzar decide to make in chapter 3 verse 29?
A golden statue.
Incorrect. A decree. Who was the only one who could sign a firm decree according to 6 verse 8?
Nebuchadnezzar.
Incorrect. The King Darius. 4 of what with a heaven reference point are identified in 8 verse 8.
Horns.
Incorrect. Winds. Which direction is pointed out in chapter 11 verse 29?
Pass.
So, spell mene.
M-E-N-E.
Correct. Who did the one who looked like a man say he got support from as recorded in chapter 10 verse 21?
Pass.
Michael. What large thing was it that Daniel said that his majesty saw in his dream? In chapter 2 verse 21, the answer would have been an image. End of the second and final minute for the assembly hall. We now go to the second and final minute. Thumbs up? Ready? Okay. How many times is the word fault mentioned in 6 verse 4?
Pass.
2. How many weeks were determined for Daniel's people and the holy city?
Pass.
70. According to 3 verse 25, what did Nebuchadnezzar notice about the 4 men in the fire?
They had no hurt.
Correct. Which beast is referred to in 7 verse 19?
Pass.
The 4th. What did Daniel want his counsel to be to Nebuchadnezzar?
Accepted.
Correct. According to 1 verse 21, what did Cyrus become?
King.
Correct. What shall happen to the daily sacrifice according to 12 verse 11?
Shall be torn down.
Incorrect. Shall be taken away. Which animals are identified in 6 verse 19?
Pass.
Lions. As suggested hitherto. End of the second and final number for both teams, and the end of section 2. We now take 55 seconds before we start our question.
Guys, the second minute is what chose. The questions aren't hard enough. You just have to listen to the questions. There are questions that you know and you can answer. Alright? Just listen to the questions, you can answer the questions. Alright? You know, 70 weeks. But right now, it's 2 questions to catch up. But just be careful. Don't go for anything later on. There are some questions that we practice and they're readily you know those. You go for those, the easier ones. Alright? Don't go for anything unnecessary. I just listen for it. A direction, some of the things that we practice, east, south, but you know the direction, except
Time. Section 3, final section. Section 3, free for all. Each team has the opportunity to respond to the 25 questions that will be asked. First team to buzz and is identified. Did I say and is identified?
Yes, sir.
And is identified earns the right for the team to respond. 20 points for each correct response. And there is a 20-point penalty for each incorrect response. Quote means word for word according to the King James Version. Complete means word for word according to the King James Version. 10 seconds to start your response after you identify, and 15 seconds to complete your response.
That's not the first question. The response.
Question.
Hugh, you know how to put
Are
one
we
verse
going
one?
to test the buzzers before?
You joke.
Okay.
I mean,
Yes, you may. No, okay. When you buzz, I'm going to ask you to hold. No prompting from the audience. Question number 1. Question. Not only did Belshazzar and his selected guests drink from the vessels irreverently, but they also did what? East Queen Street.
Praise the gods of gold, silver, brass, wood, stone, and iron.
Correct. Question number 2. Question. When the man in linen confirmed that he was sent specifically to Daniel, how did Daniel react in chapter 10, verse 11?
Time.
He stood up trembling. Question number 3. Question. In response to a great army being stirred up against him, what shall the king of the south do? According to 11, verse 25.
Time.
He shall be stirred up to battle with a very great and mighty army. Question number 4 goes like this. Question. What did Darius admit about the kingdom of the living, steadfast God whom Daniel served? According to 6 verse 26. It shall not be destroyed. Question 5. Question. The words, open quote, true, O king, close quote, spoken by Nebuchadnezzar's counselors to him was a response to what question by the king? That they had cast 3 men bound into the midst of the fire. Question number 6. Question. According to chapter 8, verse 11, spell sanctuary, assembly hall.
Sanctuary. S-A-N-C-T-U-A-R-Y.
According to chapter 8, verse 11, correct. Question number 7. Question. When did the countenances of Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah appear fairer and fatter in flesh than the children who ate the assembly hall?
After 10 days of eating pulse and drinking water.
Correct. Question number 8. Question. In chapter 7, verse 10, a fiery stream issued and came forth from the Ancient of Days. What did a thousands do before him? Assembly hall.
They ministered unto him.
Correct. Question number 9. Question. Obeying the voice of the Lord God would be shown in what action? From chapter 9, verse 10. The people walking in the laws of the Lord. Question 10. In chapter 2, verse 49, Daniel's name is listed twice. The names Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego are stated once. What other proper name is mentioned in that verse?
You're not sure.
East Queen Street.
Babylon.
East Queen Street?
Babylon.
Correct. Question number 11. Question. How peculiar was this trouble that is brought up for mention in 12 verse 1? There was none like this since there was a nation even to the time of the end. Question 12. Question. Why did Nebuchadnezzar have this obsession with Belshazzar? I'm sorry. I'd like to read that again. May I?
Sure.
Question 12. Why did Nebuchadnezzar have this obsession with Belteshazzar in chapter 4, verse 18? East Queen Street.
He had the spirit of the holy gods in him.
Velita? May I borrow that? East Queen Street. No, will not be accepted. He wanted Belteshazzar or Daniel to interpret his dream, I guess, because he had the Spirit of God in him. So, not acceptable. Question number 13. Question. Under Nebuchadnezzar's command, eventually, if not initially, what was done with the golden and the silver vessels that were in the temple in Jerusalem as assembly hall?
They were taken to the land of Shinar.
They were taken
To the land of Shinar to be placed in the treasure house of his gods.
Did you say the reference? No, I
They were taken.
Time.
Yeah, well, that's 5 verse 2.
didn't. 5 verse 2.
No, well, he has basically what I.
Inside verse 2. That's in 5. I'm not sure. Chapter 5. I thought that was mentioned in chapter 5.
Assembly hall. The place that you refer to, where is that found? What's the name of what's the word, what's the place that you mentioned? They were taken to?
Land of Shinar.
To?
The land of Shinar.
The land of
Shinar.
Shinar. Where is that found?
Chapter 1.
Chapter 1?
Yes, sir.
Or no, I'd given a reference on chapter 5, verse 2. So I'll have to mark it as incorrect. Time out, 30 seconds, East Queen Street.
He said 5 verse 2, but he said Nebuchadnezzar.
What you said? So you square it out.
Is that one verse 2?
Belshazzar, when he had the feast. Isn't that two different things?
Yeah,
Can be
two different
consistent.
things. Yeah, so it's chapter 2. You mentioned Shinar and thing.
But uncle, he said Nebuchadnezzar and then 5 verse 2, so I know Nebuchadnezzar.
Hmm?
Can we contest that?
Well, you know what I'm about. You might say.
Come on, Howard.
No, I can't take any credit from you. No, I can't take any credit from the team.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to recheck that one.
Question number 14. Question. Daniel was explaining to the man before him that he was unable to speak well, and this was attributed to what? According to 10 verse 17.
Is that attributed to what? Something I don't understand.
Time.
There was no strength remaining in him, neither any breath. Question 15. Question. Many countries shall fall because the king of the north entered. According to chapter 11, verse 42, what shall he also do to these countries?
Time.
Stretch forth his hand upon them. Question 16. Question. What did the men who assembled before the king say to the king in chapter 6, verse 15?
Men that assembled before the king, what did they say to him?
Time.
Know, O king, that the law of the Medes and Persian is that no decree nor statute which the king established may be changed. Question 17. Question. What did the princes, governors, captains, judges, treasurers, counselors, sheriffs, and rulers of the provinces do in chapter 3, verse 3?
What did they do?
East Queen Street.
Come to the dedication of the image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up.
Correct. Question 18. Question. 4 kingdoms shall emerge from the great horn. But compared to that horn, what would be significant and different according to 8 verse 22? They would not have the kind of power it had. Question 19. Question. List 3 of the children of Judah according to 1 verse 6. East Queen Street.
Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael. Mishael.
Correct. Question number 20. Question. Time out. 30 seconds. Assembly Hall.
If we don't fight and can't win, you know, those are simple questions. We
come from it. What do the 10 horns represent? Assembly Hall.
They represent 10 kings.
Okay, correct. Question number 21. Question. Wait just a minute. Question number 21. Question. What kind of times was highlighted in chapter 9, verse 25, in the midst of the 7 weeks and the 62 weeks of the rebuilding and restoration of Jerusalem? Troublous. Question number 22. Question. Which people in Babylon were under an executive order of death because the king could not find anyone to tell him? Assembly Hall.
The wise men.
Correct. Question number 23. Question. What was Daniel's action plan in chapter 12, verse 8, since he did not understand what he heard? To ask the Lord what shall be the end of the things he heard. Question 24, penultimate question. What was said in chapter 4, verse 36 about the glory of the kingdom, honor, and the brightness related to Nebuchadnezzar? They returned to him. Final question in this first match. Question. The kingdom of the mighty king would be plucked up and divided so much that this is what will happen in chapter 11, verse 4. It will not be shared among its posterity, the descendants or heirs. End of this match, I'm going to ask the two teams to shake hands in the friendly spirit of the game. I'm going to ask the other two teams to prepare themselves quickly as we are quickly running out of time. One, two, three, four, 5 minus 1.
Highland worship. Oh, maybe I won't need some famous movie star. Maybe the world won't know me. I see my face on the cover of a magazine.
That really enormous advance that you wanted, we were able to work on that, and I think we're going to get that figure for you. However, as I said before, we do want to make one request, that you take Jesus lyrics out of your music.
I know. I'm sorry, man. I can't take Jesus.
All right, next match, please, quickly.
He's the
because we
reason
have
why
run out of
I am doing what I'm
time.
Mr. Edwards, listen, from the label's perspective, when we're talking about making money, gospel music is just not making money, and you're not going to go.
All right, so it's going to be Olivet versus
I don't want to go into the business.
Torches.
I wanna make you smile. Maybe I won't own a house on the hill. I'll drive one of those new Mercedes.
Check, mic check, 1, 2. You hear me?
Maybe
Well, you coming through something that's
they
on the box, right?
won't call me. 'Cause
Testing
I
mic
choose
check,
not
1,
to
2,
be,
1, 2.
not
Testing
get
mic check,
money.
1, 2. You can look at the ATM too and look and see if the mixer volume moving. Mic check, 1, 2.
Where do these people live? Who's team one? Sorry. Torches. So torches. Well, let us go quickly. People, it's 7 o'clock. So
They said we're
torches versus
The
Oliver.
world, nothing.
Question number 1. So, all right. Will the captain identify himself, please? All right. All right. So you're the ones that will be able to. Question number 1 to torches. Question. What will the wicked in chapter 12, verse 10 not be able to do with respect to all that is being spoken and done around them?
Understand.
Correct. Question 1. Olivet, question. Who spoke these words and to whom were they spoken? Let not the dream or the interpretation thereof trouble thee.
Nebuchadnezzar spoke those words and it was to Daniel.
Unto?
Daniel.
Correct. Question number 2. You need to speak up though. Question number 2. Torches, question. The great words of the horn was heard in 7 verse 11. What did Daniel continue to behold?
The sight. The sight.
Incorrect. The beast being slain and his body destroyed and given to the burning flame. Question 2. Olivet, question. What 2 factors of the people and the fathers respectively, according to 9 verse 16, had contributed to the city of Jerusalem being regarded as a reproach by those around? Correct. Question number 3. Torches, question. Whose countenances did Daniel suggest that Melzar should look on after the test period of 10 days?
Himself and his companions. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Correct. Question number... I'm using it wrong. Did I say correct? Yeah. Yes, correct. Question number 3. Olivet, question. If the king of the north decides to have indignation against the Holy Covenant, what shall he deliberately return to in chapter 11, verse 30?
His kingdom.
Incorrect. Have intelligence with them that forsake the Holy Covenant. Question number 4. Torches, question. After falling into a deep sleep, what happened to Daniel next in 10 verse 10?
He was touched by a certain man. He was touched by a certain man.
He was touched by a?
Certain man. And fell upon his knees and palm. But he was touched though.
He was touched by a certain man.
And
No, don't add anything. Just repeat what you said.
yeah, he was touched by a certain man.
is incomplete. A hand touched him and set him upon his knees and the palms of his hands. Incomplete. Question number 4. Olivet, question. As the relation that iron that is mixed with baked clay has, what will that translate to for the people of a kingdom like that according to chapter 2, verse 43? Pass. Torches?
Repeat the question.
No.
They shall be partly strong and partly broken.
Huh?
They shall be partly strong and partly broken.
No, the people will be a mixture and will not remain united. Question number 5. Torches, question. After Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego made their position clear to Nebuchadnezzar, what act or acts did he perform in chapter 3, verse 19 to change the normal temperature of the furnace?
He turned it up 7 times hotter.
No, he spake and commanded it. Question number 5 to Olivet. Question. Daniel was the only person with the ability to give the interpretation of the writing on the wall. According to chapter 5, verse 12, what name might Belshazzar know him as? Correct. Question 6, final question for Torches. Question. What did the presidents, governors, princes, counselors, and captains do as met in chapter 6, verse 11, just before they found Daniel praying and making supplication before his God?
They sought occasion to find fault in him.
No, they assembled together. Question number 6 to Olivet. Question. Uli was the name of the river that was mentioned in chapter 8, verse 2. But according to chapter 8, verse 12, you cannot lie if you are to indicate what was thrown to the ground.
The ram.
Incorrect. The truth. End of section 1. Section 2 is a speech section. Each team will have separate 60 seconds period to answer as many questions as possible. 2 minutes for each team. You're calling time? You have to call time, torches. 30 seconds.
Said every day that I wait, I want to start my day.
Time. Speech section. Are you ready, Torches?
Yes, we are.
What were the stones mentioned in 11 verse 38 described as?
Bronze.
Incorrect. Precious. Who cried aloud according to 3 verse 4?
Daniel.
Incorrect. A herald. Who was giving commentary as indicated in 7 verse 28?
The wise men.
Incorrect. Daniel. Already without any strength. What did Daniel's comeliness turn into?
Corruption.
Correct. What type of clothing is mentioned in 5 verse 7?
Linen.
Incorrect. Scarlet. What of the Lord God have the people not obeyed, as Daniel remarked in 9 verse 10?
His laws.
Huh?
Laws. His laws.
Incorrect. His voice. Name a wise man under a death sentence who was listed in 2 verse 13.
Daniel.
Correct. How are birds referred to in chapter 4 verse 12?
Birds of the air.
Hmm?
Fowls of the air.
Time. You said birds of the air first.
Okay, that's incorrect. Fowls of the heaven is the correct answer. Question, end of section. First minute for Torches. First minute now for Olivet. You ready? No answer. Are you Olivet? Yes, sir. Just a minute. First minute now for Olivet. The voice of Gabriel came to him from the banks of what in 8 verse 16? Incomplete. The river Ulai. Who was the prince of eunuchs afraid of in chapter 1 verse 10? Correct. As expressed before, how long would the decree refer to in 6 verse 12? Scheduled to last.
30 days.
Correct. Looked is equivalent to what in 12 verse 5?
Eyes.
Incorrect. Behold, what shall the vile person make with the prince of the covenant according to 11:23? A league. Where did Nebuchadnezzar turn to get the most mighty men for a throwing task?
Pass.
His army. How many kings shall one king subdue according to 7:24?
3.
Correct. Where is referred to in 10 verse 13 by the man in linen?
Pass. Pass.
The kingdom of Persia. What type of throne was Nebuchadnezzar deposed from? Specific to 5 verse 20. A kingly throne. End of the first minute for Olivet. Second and final minute now for torches. During the determined 70 weeks reconciliation. I'm sorry, stop. Let us cancel that. I'm going to cancel that question. It says during the determined 70 weeks reconciliation. During the determined 70 weeks, reconciliation would be made for what? In 9 verse 24. It would have been iniquity, but I completely misjudged how it should have been read. So let us start again. Of where was Daniel and his companions God, as indicated in 2 verse 18?
Heaven.
Correct? For how long, according to 4 verse 19, was Daniel also known as Belteshazzar astonished?
3 years.
Incorrect. 1 hour. Spell Grecia.
Grecia.
Correct. What was initially apportioned for drinking according to 1 verse 16?
Wine.
Correct. Describe the glad that Darius felt as outlined in chapter 6 verse 23.
Most.
Incorrect. Exceeding. According to 12 verse 11, what had the abomination referred to caused?
The heavens.
Incorrect. Desolation. What of her arm will the king's daughter of the south not retain? According to 11 verse 6.
Her arms.
Incorrect. The power. Which garments of the Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were not changed in 3 verse 27?
The garments. Time.
Incorrect. They are coats. That's the end of the second minute and final minute for torches. Second and final minute now for Olivet. Ready? 4 is to 4, and beasts are to what? According to 7 verse 17. Kings. What happened again to Daniel in a short space of time, as 10 verse 16 and 10 verse 18 records?
He was sick and fainted.
He was?
Sick and fainted.
Incorrect. He was touched. What should Belshazzar have done to the God in whose breath, his breath and all his ways are? Glorified him. According to 9 verse 14, how does the Lord behave in everything that he does?
Merciful.
Incorrect. Righteously. In what manner in 2 verse 25 was Daniel brought to King Nebuchadnezzar by Arioch? In haste. What would Daniel reveal to Nebuchadnezzar in 4 verse 24 was a decree from whom? Incorrect. The Most High. What according to 8 verse 26 was true about the evening and the morning visions Daniel had?
Time.
They were true. End of the second and final minute for both teams. We're going to run straight into the speech section. I'll give you 30 seconds to catch your breath. Press the buzzer, see if they work. 30 seconds I have. 30 seconds is what I have. So you may call a timeout after. Time. Oh, we didn't give the results of the first match. Two. Final section. Section 3, free for all. Each team can respond to any question that is asked, but use the buzzer. Wait until you're identified. There's 0 tolerance. If you speak before you're identified, you will lose 20 points. Question number 1. Question. According to chapter 10 and verse 16, one like the similitude of the sons of men touched Daniel's lips, and he lost his strength. Who caused him to regain it according to 10 verse 18?
Excuse me. Could you wait until he's finished on the phone, please?
So what happens now? Anybody knew that answer?
Yeah. We didn't know it. Thank you.
I'm going to read the question. According to chapter 10, verse 16, one like the similitude of the sons of men touched Daniel's lips, and he lost his strength. What caused him to regain it? According to chapter 10, verse 18. One like the appearance of a man. Question 2, question. To live among the beasts of the field would mean that Nebuchadnezzar would be driven from among whom?
The realms of men.
No, you have to wait until you're identified so that you lose 20 points. Question number 3, question. Not only did Melzar take away the meat from Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, he removed this as well from them in chapter 1, verse 16. Torches.
Wine.
Correct. Question number 4. Question. The establishment of what kind of statute was consulted on in chapter 6, verse 7 among presidents, governors, princes, counselors, and the captains? Royal. Question 5. Describe chapter 2, verse 33. What were the components of the legs and the feet, respectively, of the image that Nebuchadnezzar dreamed up? Olivet. Pardon me? Okay, my name is Howard Morrison. I have a brother, 2 brothers and a sister. I'm married with 1 wife and 2 children. I went to Excelsior High. I've been a volunteer for a little while. Huh? No, I just get the feeling that you're probably afraid of me or something. So.
The legs were iron and the feet were part iron and part wheat.
Correct. Question number 6. Question. To be able to give an interpretation to the king, what would the wise men have been able to do, as suggested in chapter 5, verse 8? To read the writing. Question 7. For political strength, the king's daughters of the south, the king's daughter of the south, will come to the king of the north, but not retain the power of the arm. What will happen to the king of the north in chapter 11, verse 6? He shall not stand either or retain the power of his arm or authority. Question number 8, question. The time period of 7 weeks and the 62 weeks is spread between what 2 events, as indicated from chapter 9, verse 25? Restoring and building of Jerusalem and the coming of the Messiah, the Prince.
1
wrong church.
Oh. Olivet, she's a change. No, it's not. No, it's not a No, it's not a timeout. You called a timeout? If you call one before, you have one. Or you have none. Question number 8. Question number 9. Question. He has one. Timeout, torches.
The scripture tells us that it's not by might nor by power, but by the Spirit. They know that we face many battles in our
Time.
lives.
Question number 9.
Lord.
Question. What happened to Daniel's countenance, according to 7 verse 28, due to the matter in his heart and the cogitations that troubled him? It changed. Question 10. There is no standard way to dress for this occasion. But what happened to 3 tied up Hebrews in chapter 3 verse 21 while clothed in coats, hosen, hats, and other garments? They were cast into the midst of a burning, fiery furnace. Question number 11. Question. Spell Ashpenaz. Torches.
Ashpenaz. A-S-H-P-E-N-A-Z.
Correct. Question number 12. Question. From the 4 notable horns mentioned in chapter 8, verse 9, what was the progress reported of the other horn that grew out of them? It waxed increasing great toward the south, toward the east, and toward the pleasant land. Question 13. The voice of what from the man seen by Daniel at the river Hiddekel was like the voice of a multitude? Olivet.
The voice of his words.
Correct. Question number 14. Question. What 2 aspects of the high God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego did King Nebuchadnezzar highlight in chapter 4, verse 3 with long-lasting descriptions? His kingdom and his dominion. Question 15. What was specific about the wine appointed daily with the meat for the selected Hebrews down for training in the tongue of the Chaldeans, according to chapter 1, verse 5? It was from what the king drank. Question 16. King Darius, the exceeding glad King Darius, commanded that Daniel be taken up out of the lion's den. According to chapter 6, verse 23, what happened? Olivet.
He threw the people that accused Daniel into the lion's den.
Interpretation?
No, I said that he threw,
No, what's your... no, because I'm not hearing what you say.
he threw the people that accused Daniel into the lion's den.
That's incorrect. Daniel was taken up out of the lion's den. Question number 17. Question. Since the king, who was Nebuchadnezzar, wanted all wise men put to death, what did men in chapter 2, verse 13 have to go and do? Look for Daniel and his fellows. Question. Time, 30 seconds. Olivet. Time. Final section. Run to the line now. Run to the line. 25 questions. I will start with question 17 in an effort to get to question 25. Question. It's 18. Sorry. My bad after all of that. Question 18. For how long was Nebuchadnezzar dwelling with wild asses, being fed with grass as oxen, with his heart made like torches?
7 times over.
Incorrect. Until he knew that the Most High God ruled in the kingdom of men, and that he appoints over it whomsoever he will. Question number 19. Question. The king from chapter 11, verse 36 was exalting and magnifying himself, as well as speaking things against the God of gods. How shall he progress until the indignation is accomplished? He shall prosper. Question 20. Question. In admitting that they had not hearkened to the messages from the Lord, who were the messengers. I'm sorry. I'd like to read that again. In admitting that they had not hearkened to the messages from the Lord, who were the messengers, according to 9 verse 6, whom the people had not hearkened to. The prophets, the servants of the Lord. Time. I just what? Or one that just a switch? Yeah. Oh, you didn't? Okay. Okay, judges say it. We started to 30. Five questions left. Question. If there were 10 horns, then another came. If there were 10 horns, then another came, and then 3 were plucked out, how many horns would be left, as inferred from chapter 7, verse 8? Torches.
8.
That is correct. Question number 22. Question. At any hour that music was played, what was everyone in Babylon expected to do as mandated in chapter 3, verse 6? Olivet. It's incomplete. To fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Question number 23. Question. How much better was Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah than magicians? Olivet. Correct. Question number 24. Question. When the transgressors came to the full, who shall stand? According to 8 verse 23. A king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sentences. Final question. Question 25. Question. even with the great riches that the king of the north would return with to his own land, what was his heart set against, as is decided on in chapter 11, verse 28? The Holy Covenant. End of this match. I'm going to ask the two teams to shake hands as I give the marks to you. Quickly.
Simple melody I want to teach you guys. God gave it to me. They did a lot for me. It goes like this. Tip, tip, do, 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 do. Yeah. Tip, tip, do, 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 do. Ah, you should know about a lover like me. That's what it means. You should know about a lover like this. Search for love in all the worst places you'll find it. Too temporary, not enough. So many promised you forever, but it's kind of a lie and it's a bluff. Oh, you're spending so much time in mirrors, think you're lacking. Your self-esteem is going down. You're sinking deeper into darkness, lost your passion. No one to take you off the ground. Who came down, put you up on your 2 feet, life laid down, so you could rise again. Who came down, whose life laid down? Yes, Lord. You remember that? Help me sing it, yeah. You should know about a lover like me. Oh yes, nah. You should know about a lover like me. Yes, yeah. You should know about a lover like me. You should know about a lover like this. You took me from the other side of all the lies where I'm denied to be free. Taught me how to be a man and then I think the way that niggas strengthen me. Don't think I'll ever write a song to summarize your love and your grace and your mercy. Oh, it's overwhelming, overflowing, spilling over to everybody that I meet. Who came down?
Results. First match between us, East Queen Street, the defending champions, and Assembly Hall. At the end of the 3 rounds, the scores were Team 1, Assembly Hall scored 160 points, and Team 2 scored 180 points. So East Queen Street won the first encounter. In the second match, between Torches and Olivet, Team 1, Torches, scored 90 points, and Team 2, Olivet, scored 80 points. So those are the 2 winners for this evening. 90 to 80. Torches, which was this winner, Torches. All right, where's my... All right, thank you very much. Our first winner. Next match. All right, Mr. Director, next match is Thursday. So we always do So here's a question that was given to me tonight. It says, I don't know, how do they decide, how do they indicate who knows the answer? Raise hand. How many medals did Jamaica amass at the 2020?
9.
Yeah, 9 is correct. You can look at that little thing there.
So, no MVPs this year?
MVPs? Who's MVP for this match? Who's the most valuable player? Hmm? But for the first match, it will be who? First match, it will be